Hi everyone, it's Father Richard here. I'm standing in a room that's called the Hall of Mars. Mars as in the god of war. So this would have been a place where the king would have met with his military leaders. It's not quite at the throne room, which is going to be further down the corridor that we're looking at right now. But this magnificent room is meant to be uh, representative of the king's power, his military power. It is a stunning room. Every one of them is stunning. I keep using that word, but um, it's difficult to describe the grandeur in the way these places and this palace was built. But again, the style is quite different. The floor is beautifully worked in inlaid stone, quite intricate. This is the way we can walk. You can't really enter into the middle of the room. We walk around the side, way down the corridor. We're going to go through each one of these rooms, and then you wind up coming out that door over there and back up the other side and go around. So it's really a perimeter walk, and it's a very beautiful one. But these plaster carvings on the side, and by the way, that's a fireplace. These halls must have been quite challenging to heat, but up here is this enormous piece of carved plasterwork, and all of the motifs are about military. You can see armor and helmets, weapons, and if you look at the figures, of course, the figures all look like uh, Roman and Greek figures. So again, that reference to ancient images, and this hall being called the Hall of Mars refers to uh, the Roman god of war. And the work up there is just amazing. The cornices are all gold leaf again. Just pulling that in very closely, you can see the detail in it. It's breathtaking, just breathtaking, all the way up to the corner of the ceiling, and then all the way down again to the walkway. Let's walk through to the next room and see what we've got over here. This is how you walk through a Sunday morning walk through a royal palace. So this is called the Hall of Astraea, the last antechamber to the throne room. This hall was intended for diplomatic activities, essential for the growth of the kingdom. It's dedicated to the mythological figure of Astraea, goddess of justice, who appears in the canvas of the vault. That would be the painting at the top, uh, on a cloud next to Jupiter, who was the king of the gods at that time. At the center of the painting, created by the French painter Jacques Berger, there is a personification of justice whose face is that of Caroline Bonaparte, a tribute to the female virtues embodied by the French queen. So here we are in the Hall of Astraea, dedicated to justice and dedicated also to the place where the diplomatic activities of the king would take place. So here we are in this incredible room. There again, over what would appear to be a fireplace, again, monumental figures, again, gold leaf, incredible, now crystal chandeliers, different than the ones we saw before that were heavily bronze with lamps. These are now crystal chandeliers, and you can see the 3D relief figures here on the wall. And now I'm going to pan up and show you this unbelievably beautiful gold leaf ceiling in this room. This is just incredible. Again, full of light, amazing light. Now it is lit by lamps up there. You can tell around the coffered edge there's lighting, but there are also windows here as well. So the room itself was not, by its nature, a dark space, as you can see. So the next room, I'm going to wait. I'm going to take a little detour over to my right for a very special reason. So the throne room is down that way into the next room, but over here in this little side chamber, they have a very special display. And this is the Italian, says the crown of King Charles of Bourbon. And it's not the actual crown. There's a wonderful story here. There's an English translation over here, so I'll read it to you so it's a little bit easier to understand what's going on. The crown of Charles Bourbon, future Charles III of Spain, is a symbol of power and splendor created in the 18th century, commissioned by Elizabeth Farnese, Queen of Spain and Charles' mother. The crown was crafted by the goldsmith Claude Imbert, featuring 361 diamonds, including the famous 42-carat Great Farnese diamond from India. After Charles's coronation in Palermo in 1735, the crown became the symbol of the new dynasty in the Kingdom of Naples and Sicily. It's made of gold and silver. It weighed approximately 538 grams, which would be about a half a kilo, which would be about almost a pound and a half in our English measure, and was adorned with diamond-encrusted flowers, crescents, and a cross topped by a globe, all decorated with precious stones. However, and this is the key to what we're going to see, during the Napoleonic Wars, this crown disappeared and shrouded in an aura of mystery that has fueled legends to this day. So the problem with it is that we do not any longer know what happened to this crown, but there is a copy of it, and that's what we're going to look at. This is what it was like, and this was created. It's a masterpiece of reconstruction and creation. This would have been the crown right here. And you can see that great 42 carat Farnese diamond in the middle of it right there. That's the Farnese diamond. And some of the other 361 diamonds that encrusted this crown. That's the front of it. The back is just a little bit different, slightly more simplified. And it's in a glass case, which accounts for the perhaps a bit of reflection in the video. But here we are looking at the reproduction of the crown of Charles III. And there on the top, of course, is the orb that would represent the world, and the cross, which is on top of it, representing, of course, the connection of the royal family to the church itself, but also to the fact that Christ is the ruler, the true ruler of all kings. And you can see that in the middle of the cross is a very, very large diamond. These, by the way, if you read the detailed explanation of the reproduction, these are cubic zirconia that have been copied to look, obviously, to imitate the diamonds. But there it is, the crown of King Charles III, Bourbon King of Naples and Sicily. Quite beautiful, quite beautiful.